AI, which is another major aspect of why music and culture and whatever seems to be under attack or watered down, or however you want to put it, because there's a lot of concerted effort by some giant companies out there to basically devalue everything that is considered creative and culture, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's film, whatever. So let's just talk about it. There's an article right here on Futurism. Shout out to Futurism. They have some very great pieces on a regular basis, so you should definitely check them out if you want to have more thoughtful discussions like we talked about right now about in articles about what is going on. Obviously, if you've been anywhere online or social media, you know that there's been a huge trend with ChatGPT when they recently released a new feature about creating images or turning images to pretty much anything that you want. There was a whole discussion about Ghibliism, basically taking an image of you or whatever that you have and turning into a Studio Ghibli kind of illustration, say to say. It's big. It went really very viral. You saw anybody and everybody doing it, and it opened up a lot of discussion about the ethics of AI and whether that is stealing or copyright or just straight up jacking, the creativity of somebody else, which has been an ongoing discussion ever since, the launch of AI or the resurgence of AI over this last couple of years. So, title of this article is Sam Altman says Miyazaki just needs to get over it. In the wake of OpenAI releasing its new server melting image generator that went viral, creating soulless simulacra, I never heard that word, of Studio Ghibli, I'm not really sure I say Ghibli, Studio Ghibli style illustrations. Sam Altman is slamming the haters, including the man whose art he's cribbing, which is stealing from. During an interview with tech founder, YouTuber Aaron Maya, Altman dismissed newly resurfaced criticisms from Studio Ghibli co-founder Hayao Miyazaki, who in 2016 lambasted an AI-generated animation he has shown as creepy and an insult to life. That was honestly one of my favorite clips from him. Like, you don't really see that many clips from Miyazaki in his kind of element and like discussing his process or discussing anything that is going on with, the very, very highly acclaimed and respected studio that he helped build. But one of my favorite clips that is him discussing being presented an AI produced work of art or film by people in his company. I believe it was actually his son, and his response is just basically, was quite frankly, shit was an insult to life itself. Like, you gotta give props to that. The man stood on business. He said what he said. He felt how he felt, and he lived up to everything that I thought he would have, because as somebody who takes so much pride and care about, and just the general messaging of his actual films, if you watch them, you would know that he is opposed to this digital hellscape that we seem to be finding ourselves in. So the fact that, ChatGPT came out with a, AI module, whatever, that allows people to turn his artwork into this soulless commodification across the board on social media for just mindless consumption, it goes counterintuitive to pretty much everything that he stands for and that his studio stands for, and just the entire general message of his films. It's mind-boggling, honestly. It's mind-boggling. But we also did a kind of news article about it, talking about, this viral ChatGPT image generator and how it sparked a lot of discussion and concerns about copyright. I'm not going to go through this whole thing. You can check that out on our site, Little My Fears, if you want. But what I do want to point out is we actually included the clip where he talked about how he thought this was an insult to life. This is Hayao. I'm going to say it. How you say Hayao? Miyazaki's thoughts on artificial intelligence.
人工知能で動きを学習させた CG を見せてくれるそうです。
これ踊ってるように見えますけど、でこれは早く移動するっていうので学習させたやつなんですね。これ頭を使って移動してるんですけど、基本痛覚とかないし、頭が大事だとかっていう概念がないんですよ。 をもう普通の足のように使って移動してるっていうこの動きがとにかく気持ち悪くてゾンビゲームの動きに使えるんじゃないかっていうこういう人工知能を使うと多分人間が想像できない気持ち悪い動きができるんじゃないか、はい、一応こんなことをやっています実際には
Oh, you can just see, just off rip, just the look on his face, like, yo, man, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is this bullshit you are showing me? You can just see right out the rip.
毎朝この頃会わないけど身体障害の友人がいるんですよ。そのハイタッチするんだけども大変なんです。彼の筋肉がこわばってる手と僕の手でこうハイタッチする。でその彼のことを思い出してね、僕はこれ面白いと思って見ることできないですよ。これを作る人たちは痛みとかそういうものについてね何も考えないでやってるでしょ。極めて不愉快ですよね。そんなに気持ち悪いものをやりたいなら勝手にやってればいいだけで、僕はこれを自分たちの仕事をつなげたいとは全然思いません。極めて何か生命に対する侮辱を感じます。
There it is. I strongly feel like this is an insult to life itself. I am utterly disgusted. Hey, shout out to the GOAT, man. Shout out to the absolute GOAT. Man knows he's talking about. Like, the fact that, you know, you go to him, Miyazaki, whose artwork is literally talking about nature and humanity and like our disconnection with the physical world. You present him with AI bullshit. It's just like, all right, like read the room. Read the room. Going back to Sam Altman's kind of topics, conversation about that is when Maya, who says he created and deployed AI avatars itself that allow him to enjoy permanent vacations, such as, and to Altman, the artist's concerns about AI are legit, and OpenAI claimed that the trade-off is worth it. He then claimed that it was impossible to make videos, or as they used to call it back in the Stone Age, being a filmmaker just a few decades ago. Think what it is like to try to do what you do 30 years ago. You'd need like a camcorder like VHS tapes, and then you'd have to like edit it in some complicated way. And then even if you did that, you would have to like distribute tapes because there was no internet and all. So what you're saying is you actually had to care. You actually had to care about the work, about the craft. You actually had to have a passion for making film and having to want to do this, not as a commercial venture, but because you love the art form that you want to participate in it. And no matter what the barriers were, you were going to find a way to do it. And somebody like Sam Altman sees that as a negative thing, not as a part of the process of creativity and of learning and of getting better and of actually developing skill and an eye and an opinion to have to put out on film as a negative thing. Think about that. This is why we are where we are right now. People always say we get a lot of trash films. We get a lot of garbage stuff out there that is just thrown out there to streaming services to never be seen again. Why is that? Because like he said, the barrier to entry is basically gone. So anybody could pump out trash at any level. But back in the day, if you wanted to be made, you wanted to get out there, you wanted to actually be seen, you had to have a true passion for this because you were not getting any reward from this for the early part of your career. Most people weren't seeing what you did early on, but because you loved it and you continued to do it, you got better. And eventually people might have seen it. It's the same thing with sports. You put in the work, not guaranteeing that's going to pay off, but because you want to give yourself the opportunity to have it pay off. It's not always about the commercial ends. We continue. There are obviously several disconcerting inaccuracies being presented as a universal statement. It absolutely did exist 30 years ago, which is crazy because that was just the late 90s. And has in fact existed for more than 40 years since its advent and did indeed help filmmakers learn editing tricks and distribute their work. Obviously, it wasn't impossible to make video recordings in the year 1995. Many people old enough to remember at least a part of their 90s recall their parents' home videos, myself included. Had a ton of them. Everybody had a camcorder. Everybody made home videos. It was a thing. Unfortunately, Altman's anxiety didn't end there. With just a smartphone and dream, the CEO insisted anyone who has something interesting to say, they get it out there and the world benefits from that. That is absolutely not fucking true. I never thought I would say this, but I really genuinely miss the days when we knew less about people. When people's opinions weren't all over your page. When people's shitty work wasn't all over your page. Like, the mystery is gone, and that is a bad thing. To think that it's a good thing that somebody interesting to say, who says it's interesting? Who says it's interesting? My nieces, my nephews at 4 years old think shit was interesting, but when you actually hear them say it, it's like, okay. They get it out there and the world benefits from that. The world benefits from that. Is that true? Does it really benefit it? Does it really benefit the art form that you put out that 1 millionth video of the yearly fireworks going off, or that short clip of a concert that 100,000 other people got and put out there to the ether? Does that really benefit the world? Like, honestly, truly? There is a reason there was a difference between true artists and creators and people who weren't. Yes, it's nice that there are tools that allow the ability to get involved in the arts easier, but it shouldn't erase any obstacles or challenges to actually becoming a true artist, because that is what separates people. That's what makes the art form so special, is the obstacles and the challenges that you had to overcome to get to that level of artistry. But of course, a tech bro use that challenge and that obstacle as a negative. Of course. I mean, I agree with futurism here. We're not exactly sure how creating Ghibli-style images of historic disasters benefits the world. Giving everyone more tools, making things easier, lowering the barriers to entry, does significantly increase the number of people that can contribute to society. Like, contributing to society does not mean pumping out content for the masses. That is not contributing to society. I'm sorry. It's just not. It's contributing to your platforms. Yes, the more content, the more people on there, the more people viewing things, the more people addicted to their phones. That is great for your platforms because it's exactly how you make your money. Like, do people not see this connection like between the two? Like, no fucking duh. It benefits my world, aka Sam Altman's world, aka Elon Musk's world, aka Zuckerberg's world. You have to keep pumping out content for these platforms to be worthwhile for them. So allowing tools to allow you to pump out more, better content without any heart or soul behind it and just feed the machine, of course is better for their bottom lines. Of course they're going this route. Of course. What are we talking about? Were AI doing any, well, future to close this here, were AI doing anything to democratize art and speech? We'd be inclined to agree. Same. But thus far, for every instance of compelling generative art we've seen, there has been an endless stream of slop and bullshit that imitates existing styles rather than charting new territory. I literally could not have said it better. Like, with all these tools, with all this endless possibilities that AI seems to be giving people, the only shit that we continue to see on a massive scale is people imitating and copying the work of true artists and creators before them. Why is that? Because they truly wanted to create something, or they just wanted to cash in on something cheap and easy? I would say the percentage between that, the former and the latter, is probably 95% to 5%, if not 99% to 1% that actually use those tools to create something new and exciting. How many more Simpsons avatars do we actually fucking need in this world to be considered contributing to the betterment of society? These tech bros are fucking insane. And it's only getting worse. Their attacks are only going to get increasing, because that's the only way these platforms are going to make money, is if you continue funneling these bullshit platforms with straight up AI slop. That's just facts. as you can see, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I actually do like AI, and I do think it does serve a place and a purpose, so to say. But the way it is now, the way it's set up, it's only being used to line people's pockets. That's the whole purpose for this. That's it. But let's continue. Let's continue talking about this whole AI fucking debacle that we're finding ourselves in. Here we go. Meta announced that. Here we go. As if there weren't enough players in the AI game. Meta to start training its AI models on public content in the EU. Meta announced Monday that it's going to train its AI models on public content, such as posts and comments on Facebook and Instagram in the EU, after previously pausing its plans to do so in response to regulatory pressure due to data privacy concerns. The company will start training its AI and users' content in the EU this week. It said users' interactions with Meta AI will also be used to train its models. The announcement comes at the limited version of Meta AI launched in the EU last month, well after its debut in the US and other global markets. While Meta has been training its AI on user-generated content in the US for years, it has faced resistance in the EU due to Block's strict privacy laws, particularly the General Data Protection Regulation, which requires a clear legal basis for processing personal data to train AI models. Meta said back in June 2024 that it paused plans to start training its AI systems using user data in the EU, following pushback. Fast forward today, Meta has announced that it will do so with public posts from its EU user base as well. Last year, we delayed training our large language models using public content while regulators clarified legal requirements. We welcome the opinion provided by the EDPB in December, which affirmed that our original approach met our legal obligations. Since then, we have engaged constructively with the IDPC and look forward to continuing to bring the full benefits of generative AI to people in here. Starting this week, users in EU will start receiving in-app and email notifications plan will start using public data interactions with Meta AI to train its models. These notifications will include a link to a formula. Meta notes that it doesn't use private messages nor public data from users under the age 18 to train its models. I mean, good luck to the EU. If the EU is allowing this, there's no hope for anywhere else around the world, because they are typically the most strict when it comes to, consumer privacy and care and whatever. As somebody who runs a website, I can attest to that. So if they're allowing this in the EU, the game is up. The jig is up. This is the new norm. It doesn't say whether they're training them on either public content that they are using directly with the Meta AI platform, or if it is content that they are, let's say, posting on these platforms, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, which I'm assuming anything you post on Instagram or Facebook is just being fed directly into these AI modules and platforms to train them to create something, which basically is teaching them how to copy the shit that you guys create so that we can pump it out for more content in the future. That's just basically what it is. That is just a game. So good luck to everybody out there in the EU. Welcome to this hellish hellscape that we are in.